Happiness through curiosity on the Ranveer Show. I won't take the name of the deity unless you wish to, but you said that ex deity was relegated to become a Kshetrapal.
No, it's okay. Bhairava was relegated to become a Kshetrapal. Yes.
Relegated in sports terms means you finish at the bottom of the league, therefore you go to the lower league.
Okay, so this is basically that when the peak Bhairava Upasana used to happen in Kashmir and other places, after that fall happened, so Bhairava's role in the other sampradayas was that of a Kshetrapala. As well as in the Tantra sampradaya, his role is that of the peripheral guardian of the path. To some degree, he will also help in the being a guru of the path, and also at times as a consort of the path. But primarily, the upasana is happening of Devi. The focus was not on Bhairava. So Bhairava is on the sidelines in the tantric path, more or less. The peak Bhairava upasana used to happen around, I think, 13th, 14th century, maybe 13th century. After that, it kept falling, and it kind of relegated. It relegated means it. What I mean is specifically, it kind of sort of shifted towards more large part of folklore, large part of colloquialism in there, not necessarily based on complete shastras. Some places, yes, but not so much. He was never, almost rarely ever the primary devata.
Unlike Shiva, unlike Devi.
Shiva. Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay. There's a statement that you keep repeating on the show and offline, which is that Bhairava is waking up again.
Yes.
There's a couple of questions. One, why was he asleep? Because, I mean, it could be argued that during the invasions, many Bhairav temples were destroyed. Therefore, there weren't that many people practicing Bhairav worship in the first place. But a more metaphysical way of looking at it is the deity is much more powerful than even war and warlords. So was it the deity's will to go to sleep for some time?
So that is a question where we cannot have a definite answer. We can speculate at best, okay? Because nobody really knows fully the mind of the deity. But deities can, and very often do, they may withdraw themselves from playing in the world for some period of time. The moment a deity withdraws himself or herself, what you will see is that experiences related to the deity will suddenly reduce. Great souls who are upasakas of the deity will stop getting born. That's one of the things that will happen. In fact, the average person's connection to the deity is very minor. Average human being doesn't understand deities too much, to be honest. Overall idea you have that I am born into Hindu family, so I know this is Hanumanji, this is Ma Durga and all that is there. But you really start connecting when there is at least one individual who has attained to some degree of contact with the deity. You follow that individual. Through that individual, you connect to the energy of the deity. This is a very standard practice across India. Okay. In Tarapit, for example, right now it's a very popular place in Bengal. A lot of people go there. Tarapit really became very famous after the birth and the life of Bhamakhepa. Bhamakhepa was a Siddha Purusha who used to remain in the cremation ground, who was like a child of Matara. Okay. So Matara was always there. Those who have to do the upasana, they used to go at one point. But the kind of fame that it has acquired right now is entirely because there was a Siddha who had attained perfection in the upasana of Matara. So this is what happens in the world also. So when a deity withdraws himself or herself, he makes sure that great Siddhas, individualistic one too may be there, but somebody who can awaken masses is not going to get born, who's connected to that deity, because he or she stops sending his energy, to put it in a very normal way of conversation.
So obviously even now there are certain deities that are dormant.
Yes.
Many?
Perhaps many. Perhaps there are deities who have never been active in the world of human beings.
Oh, okay.
They don't like interacting with humans.
I'd actually bought a book on witchcraft just out of interest, and it was about worldwide witchcraft.
Okay.
The moment I opened that book, firstly I got, sometimes you can just feel the consciousness of certain books also. How do you feel when you're going through the words,
right,
etc. I just felt very dark reading that book, so I didn't go through it completely, but I read the chapter on deities. It didn't actually have anything written about Hindu deities, but it had a lot written about Mesopotamian deities, Egyptian deities, etc. like Ra, Anubis.
Right.
In Mesopotamia, there's Gilgamesh, few more. There are all these names that you've heard. There's Greek deities like Zeus, Hades, all these.
Right.
Those are perhaps the deities that have chosen to exit the human world.
Possible. The other thing is that some of those deities are actually worshipped among us also.
Go on.
For example, Anubis. So he has the face of a dog. Okay. And he's the one who takes a soul after death through their, I don't remember the terminologies, but they have a kind of a river they have to cross and all that. So he is the deity who has a connection to wolf, jackal, who is a connection to death, who is worshipped by the pharaohs, who's a male deity who takes you across that river of death. This is exactly what Bhairava does. Of all places, why do you think they found out a deity who has the face of a jackal or a dog? It could have been cow, it could have been anything. Because the deity impresses his energy onto the upasakas. These are the seers. These are the rishis we call, okay, of a culture. So deity, this iconography of the devata also comes from the deity. It's not just some artist's random imagination. He inspires the mind and says that, okay, this is how you look at me. This is the ayudhas, the weapons. This is the vahana. This is the etc. And then there are mantras and all this gets revealed over time. And then the lesser upasakas like us, we follow those leads that have been given to us. Same way, a devata can appear in multiple cultures at multiple times. He is not tied to A or B culture at all. Most deities, very vast deities of the greatest realms, they're not connected to A or B specific culture. They may make their appearance in other cultures, but with some modification due to the local circumstances and other things, or based on the understanding of that culture, modify itself.
So the playground has a limited number of bosses.
In what sense? In terms of deities?
Yes.
Yes.
And a part of the playground will view that same deity
in different manner.
Yeah. As in from another part of the playground.
Yes.
So the kids sitting in South America probably also worshipping a deity that's being worshipped in India.
Yes.
In the same way that Anubis from Egyptian culture is perhaps Bhairava. Okay.
Very likely.
Very likely. Hey, if you enjoyed this clip from the Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.